Hello, and welcome to 5-Minute Math. Today we are looking at the 8th grade concept of using the Pythagorean Theorem. This is Standard 8.7c in the great state of Texas, and we are using item number 19 of the 2024 released STAAR test. If you haven't done so already, please go ahead and take a moment to pause the video, work this problem out on your own, unpause it, and we will look at our answers together. All right, so we have a diagram represents the side view of a roof, and here's the key part. It's in the shape of a right triangle. Not only does it tell us the right triangle, this little square is our universal symbol to let us know we have a 90-degree or a right angle. Now, a lot of things happen when you have a triangle and there is a right angle or a 90-degree angle because that puts into play several different theorems and ideas that we could use to calculate for missing side lengths. One of the ones that we want to use here is the Pythagorean Theorem. Now, it is simply labeled the Pythagorean Theorem, right? And as we are looking on our reference materials, you're going to see it. I'll put it at the very bottom. It simply says the Pythagorean Theorem. It doesn't say anything about a right triangle. So you need to know that at the very bottom of that reference material you see on the screen, all it says is a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So that's going to help us, but it doesn't say the word right triangle. So you need to know that that equals a right triangle. So when we're dealing with the Pythagorean theorem, it says that a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So this only works with a right triangle, and it doesn't matter which one is which. These two are going to be your two legs. So these are the two sides that come off of your right angle. This is always going to be your hypotenuse. This is always going to be the side across from the right angle. It's always the longest side of a right triangle. So I can label this side A, and I can label this side B. Doesn't matter, I could have flipped those. What does matter is that this side is labeled C, because this is literally what it means. If you were to make a square that is 18 feet and find the area of that square, and if you were to find a square that is 8 feet by 8 feet, and find the area of that square, and add those two up, what the Pythagorean theorem says is that the area of both of those side lengths is always going to be equal to the area of whatever we have here for our hypotenuse. And you see it's kind of going off the screen there, but imagine that's a full square. Those two red squares will always equal the blue square, no matter what size lengths you have, as long as it is a right triangle with 90 degrees. So that's what the hypotenuse is going to do for us, is it's going to be equal to the squares of both of the side lengths of the legs. That's the Pythagorean theorem. All right, so we actually have numbers there that we could use. So A is 18. So we can say A equals 18, B equals 8, which means I can plug these two numbers right there. I can say that 18 squared plus 8 squared equals c squared. So I need to find the length of the roof. Here's the roof. I'm looking for c. All right, so let's see what 18 squared and 8 squared happen to be. All right, so 18 squared, 324. All right, so 324, 8 squared is 64. So I'm going to add 64. So that's going to equal 388. Okay, so 388 equals c squared. I don't need c squared. I just need c, which means the inverse of that is going to be the square root. So what I need, I'm going to push the second. I'm going to push that x squared so I can get the square root. I'm going to take the square root of 388. And that's going to get me a decimal, but it's going to give me 19.69. You know how that, and you see that rounds close to 19.7. That is going to be my answer, D.